for the day 4 of our 10-day detox challenge, right? I'm so excited for this session. And how many of you are excited? Type E in the chat box if you are someone who is really excited for the session. And how many of you started practicing the yesterday detox technique? Type I in the chat box. If you are someone who started following it, let me know in the chat box what you have followed. Were you able to follow it yesterday, or did you follow it today, right? So yesterday it was not possible, today. So have you started practicing that? Great. And let me revise what happened so far. So we started our detox challenge with the first detox technique called liquid detox. In that we have seen three components: water detox, water throughout the day, right? When you wake up, you have to drink 2 glasses of water, and every 1 hour you have to drink water. And you understand what is the importance of water, right? When you consume water, it will balance all the acids, and it will give you a cleanse every time when you drink water, right? And then detox juice, right? Early in the morning, when you start your day with the detox juice, what happens? It will accelerate the process of detoxification in your body, right? And then we have seen the detox teas, very much effective, right? So these detox teas will help your body to not only just detox, and also helps you to start healing, right, your body. And because you are not consuming the detox teas, you have to consume the medicines, right? So instead of medicines, if you can take the natural ingredients which mother nature has given to you, then you can start cleansing your body from inside, right? So we have seen we have to consume we understood the three components of diet detox: dinner, lunch, and breakfast, right? We are going to discuss one by one. And yesterday we have seen what is the one technique that protected all humans till the last 70 years from all the diseases and health issues. And what is the one technique that is protecting all the animals and species on this planet Earth from all the illnesses, diseases, and health issues? What is that? Early dinner, right? We have seen by eating dinner early, we are actually providing more cleaning hours to our body, which means more healing hours, right? And early dinner helps you to allow the body to digest the food more efficiently, and it helps reducing the workload on your digestive system, and it helps your body to get the detox, right? And then we have seen the major reason for acidity and digestive problems is irregular acid secretion that damages the inner lining of your stomach, right? That leads to acidity, acid reflux, bloating, constipation, and other issues. We have seen the best early dinner options, right, to detox your body for the next 10 days. We have seen the fruit dinner, and then we have seen the vegetable soup, vegetable dinner, and we have seen the full-fledged dinner in the form of oatmeal or soaked chia seeds, or you can have 1 cup of curd rice. How many of you started practicing this early dinner? Type I in the chat box. And we have seen strictly no carbs, no processed food in the early dinner, right? And challenge, if you are someone who does not have dinner being prepared by 7 p.m., you can always carry these things, right? Certain fruits or certain dry fruits with you, and you just eat, right, whenever the time comes. Don't wait for some foods to come, right? Otherwise what happens, you will have more cravings. And if I have to summarize everything whatever we have discussed yesterday, what are the two mistakes we are making with respect to dinner? Number one, eating late, eating late dinner, right? And number two, eating heavy food in the form of dinner, right? What are the two rules for the dinner? Dinner should be early, and dinner should not have heavy to digest food, right? These are the two simple things you need to follow. And my dear friends, before starting today's detox technique, I want everyone to just close your eyes. Everyone, sit straight, spine erect, close your eyes gently, and be relaxed and take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, breathe in deeply and breathe out. And take another deep breath, breathe in, breathe out. And I want you to visualize. My dear friends, visualize, why do you want to live healthy? I want you to answer yourself. And for whom do you want to live healthy? And my dear friends, I want you to answer yourself. What is the one thing that you can change to live healthy from today? What is that one thing? Just answer for yourself. And take 3 long deep breaths. Take a deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out. And take another deep breath. Breathe in deeply and breathe out. And be relaxed. And I want you to gently open your eyes. And I want you to have your detox journals ready and start taking the notes, right? How many of you are excited about the next detox technique which we are going to discuss today? How many of you are excited? Type E in the chat box. Let me see who are all the people who are really excited for today's session, today's detox technique, today, whatever you are going to learn, right? Great. My dear friends, so far we are done with the first detox technique, that is called liquid detox. And then we started learning the second detox technique, that is diet detox, right? Yesterday we discussed the mistakes we are making with respect to the dinner. We have seen what is the best dinner options for the people who are suffering from any health issues for the next 10 days, right? But today we are going to discuss about the mistakes we are making with respect to what? With respect to lunch, right? So, my dear friends, let me uncover. Today, we are going to discuss about the next detox technique, right? How we are going to make changes in your lunch, right? To make sure that your body is going to detox on a regular basis, right? So, before telling that, I want everyone to type what you eat in the lunch in the chat box. You may be eating this, right? Or you may be eating this, or your lunch may look like this. Some people, your lunch contains this, right? For some people, your lunch plate looks like this. For some of the people, your lunch plate could look like this, right? Okay, most of you are resonating with these things, right? My dear friends, how many of you would like to know what are the two mistakes we are making with respect to lunch? What we eat in the lunch that is leading to all the acidity and digestive problems. How many of you understood this? Why we are discussing about the mistakes about the diet? Because, my dear friends, you are what you eat, right? If you don't know what you are eating, you cannot make changes in what you are eating, right? So you will not be able to come out of your health issues. That is why it is very important to know what you are eating, right? Exactly. Today we are going to understand about it. And my dear friends, let's understand one thing. Every illness in your body is nothing but a deficiency of certain nutrients, right? So if your body is getting all the nutrients, the minimum essential nutrients, your body will not get any illness, or even if it has any illness, it is going to heal itself from inside, right? That is why in the natural healing system, we always focus on what are the nutrients that are not being absorbed by your body and what is the root cause for that. So that is called root cause, right? If you find the root cause, if you fix the root cause, what happens? Your body will be able to absorb the right nutrients which your body needs. And that is where your healing will start. Natural healing from inside will start, right? So what we have been doing, instead of understanding what are the nutrients we are not taking, we are actually end up eating medicines to come out of the symptoms, right? And my dear friends, you will continue with the suffering of health issues if you only depend on working on the symptoms, taking the medicines, right? And by this time, everybody would have known, right? And how many of you think that it's a great opportunity for us to make changes if you know what are the mistakes we are making? Type I in the chat box. If you are someone who is thinking that if I know exactly what are the mistakes I am making, it's a great opportunity for me to make changes so that I'll be able to come out of my health issues, right? My dear friends, what is the mistake number one we are making? Not having a balanced lunch, which means not taking the balanced food in your lunch. Before understanding what is balanced diet and what is not, let's understand what is a balance. Okay. So let me start by asking you a question. How many types of foods are there? Let me know in the chat box. How many different types of foods do you know? Okay. Okay. I'm getting so many different variety answers. Okay. Great. My dear friends, let me uncover what are the different types of foods. There are two types of foods on this planet Earth. Want to know those foods? Number one is called living food. So, what is living food? Living food is a food which has a life. Because it has a life, it also creates life within us. Right? How do we know that? Let's see with a small experiment. If you take an apple slice and bury it in the soil, after a few days, what will happen? A sapling, a small plant will come out of it, right? Because it has life energies, it can create life. But if you bury potato chips or chocolates in the same soil, what will happen? Plant will never come out of it because there is no life in it, right? Apple is a living food, contains life energy in the form of enzymes, minerals, and vitamins, whereas processed food contains no life energy because all the enzymes, minerals, and vitamins are dead in the process of overcooking, baking, frying, and processing, right? So then you may ask me, what are the living foods, right? How many of you want to know what are the examples of living foods? Living foods are those foods that are as close to their original and natural form given by the nature, right? So these are some of the examples of living foods that everybody knows: fruits, vegetables, grains, whole grains, nuts and seeds, sprouts, coconuts, and there are so many different kinds of foods that are considered as living foods because they contain a lot of nutrients in the form of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and enzymes, right? Then what is the second category of foods? The second category of foods are called dead foods, right? So how many of you want to know what are the dead foods? My dear friends, these are some of the examples of dead foods. Foods which are overcooked, fried, baked, ultra processed by adding a lot of preservatives are called dead foods. If you see most of the packaged foods, frozen, tinned, bottled, canned, and ultra processed foods are called dead foods. What do I mean by dead food? Why these foods are called dead foods? My dear friends, understand the science behind it. I want you to pay little more attention over here because if you understand this, this can be a game changer for you from today onwards, right? My dear friends, foods in which all the enzymes, vitamins, and minerals are dead are being taken away because of overcooking, baking, frying, and processing. Those foods are called dead foods because of removal of the majority of the nutrients your body needs. They are called dead foods, right? Let's see what is the difference. What happens if you put a banana on a kitchen counter for 3 days? What happens over a period of 3 days, 4 days? It rots, it smells, and it spoils. Why it is being spoiled? Because it has a life, it is going to be dead, right? It will die after some time. And what happens if you put a biscuit on your kitchen counter? If you put some biscuits on your kitchen counter, what happens? What happens after 30 days? It will remain same, it looks same, right? It may become little soft, but it looks same, right? Why it is looking same? Why it is remaining same? Because it has no life, it is already dead, right? All the living enzymes, vitamins and minerals, majority of these things have already been taken away. Because of that, it is already dead. That's why it is not actually changing the form, right? My dear friends, how do we know that a particular food is a living food or dead food? There are two markers to identify whether a food is living food or dead food. If the food comes straight from the farm without major processing in the factory, except just packing, it is called living food because it contains enzymes, minerals, and vitamins your body needs. But if the same food comes from the factory, which means after breaking down, after processing it, after adding some preservatives, adding some additives, then it is called dead food because all the enzymes have been dead, right? My dear friends, have you ever seen biscuits hanging over the trees? No, because it has to be manufactured in a factory. It is not directly coming from the nature, right? Type G in the chat box if you got it. And how many of you want to know the second marker? Living food eventually rots, eventually spoils, right? Yes. And my dear friends, these are some of the examples of dead foods which you may be buying from the supermarkets, right? Want to see some examples? Yes. Majority of these processed, packaged, canned, tinned foods which contains preservatives and additives, these are all called dead foods, right? My dear friends, these are not foods, these are products made by some companies to make some profits because you need to eat certain things, right? And my dear friends, understand these are the source of all the diseases for humans for the last 50, 60, 70 years. Be it obesity, diabetes, blood pressure, thyroid, cholesterol, fatty liver, or other lifestyle diseases. One of the major reason for having all these issues is eating foods that are dead or eating foods that are highly processed, highly refined, right? So the biggest mistake we are making is eating dead foods all the day, right? Not including the living foods. So if you see most of the people, because of our busy lifestyle, right, because of lack of awareness, we have been eating all the refined foods. In the morning, you eat idli, dosa, or roti, puri, right? Chole, whatever you are eating in the morning, everything, right? Refined. Lunch, most people will eat roti, chapati, right? Or rice with little bit of curry. And in the evening, again, you will eat the same grains, right? So all the time you have been eating only some refined grains, but you are not taking the other nutrients your body needs. My dear friends, your body needs fiber, your body needs protein, your body needs fats, right? Your body needs certain essential vitamins to function it effectively, to fight all the illnesses, to fight all the unwanted bacteria and pathogens from outside. If you are eating all the refined foods all the time, what happens? Your body is deprived of important nutrients. That is where it starts creating illness, it starts creating disease in your body, right? And you are actually looking for some medication instead of fixing the root cause. So what is the solution? Including living foods in every meal, right? Every lunch plate you have, if you can include a bit of salad, maybe in the form of cucumber, kira, or carrot, or in the form of tomatoes, lettuce, cabbage, or whatever natural food available, if you can include a bit of maybe 10, 15, 20% of your plate, if it contains any salad, it gives some important essential nutrients to your body, right? And if you are eating your lunch, right, it is recommended to have more vegetable sabji, right? If you are eating rice or roti, the sabji should be 50% of what you are eating, right? By doing that, you are actually giving different variety of vegetables and you are adding a lot of nutrients in your food, right? So that was the mistake number one. What is that? Not having the balanced lunch, eating only foods. And now what is the mistake number two? Eating only refined grains all the time, right? So whatever we are eating in the breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, when you eat outside, all the sweets, bakery foods, right? So everything you are eating is made out of refined grains, right? My dear friends, let's understand what is wholesome and what is refined, right? So wholesome foods are the foods which is given by the nature as it is, without being subtracted, without being taken away any of the nutrition, right? And because these whole foods contains nutrition, because my dear friends, understand anything which comes from the nature, okay, that contains balanced nutrition. It contains a bit of fiber, it contains a bit of protein, it contains some essential vitamins and essential minerals, so that our human body can digest this food very easily and it can absorb all the nutrients, so that body can function effectively, it can fight all the illnesses and it can maintain the overall health, right? Nature has purposefully given all these things, right? But my dear friends, what happens when you refine the food, right? When you remove certain part of the food which is given by the nature and when you use it differently, what happens? Your body is deficient of some important nutrients, right? That leads to health issues. So when we process any food, there are lack of essential enzymes which leads to indigestion, right? So to digest the food more smoothly, every food should contain certain enzymes, natural enzymes. So all the time, if we are eating the foods which are refined, we are lack of enzymes, leads to indigestion, that leads to a lot of digestive issues like acidity, acid reflux, constipation, bloating, irritability, and lack of absorption, right? Majority of these things, okay? So that is why it is very very important to make sure that we are eating the right nutrition. And let's see what happens if you refine the food. What do you mean by refining the food? For an example, if you take the corn, okay, the corn kernels contains all the fiber, fat, vitamins and certain minerals, right? But when you refine it, when you break it down in the form of corn meal, corn syrup, and corn starch, what happens? It is deprived of certain nutrients, right? So, what happens when you eat refined foods all the time? You will get the nutritional deficiency, right? Do you know what is the major nutritional deficiency you will be having? And how many of you have seen when you go to doctor, when you go to any hospital for any health issues, they see your blood reports and they say that you have nutritional deficiency, right? You have this vitamin B12 deficiency, vitamin D, you have iron deficiency, you have calcium deficiency, right? But we think that we are eating well, right? We always tend to say, I'm eating 3 times a day, I'm eating 4 times a day, I'm having all the things in my home, right? Why should I have the nutritional deficiency? My dear friends, even if you eat 3 times a day, 4 times a day, doesn't matter, right? Whether you are eating the required nutrients, right? That is the most important thing. So, do you know what are the major deficiencies causing majority of the health issues for humans, right? So, if you see 50 years ago, 100 years ago, we did not have these many issues, these many health issues, right? But why we are having majority of these health issues in the last 50 to 70 years? Because of these three most important essential nutrients in the body. What are the three most basic fundamental important nutrients that are actually building blocks of immunity? Vitamin C, vitamin B12, and vitamin D. These are the three basic building blocks for the immunity in your body, right? My dear friends, your mother and father protects you till 5 years, right? When you are a baby, who is going to protect you? Your mother and father, right? My dear friends, who is protecting you after that, after 5 years? These are the three essential nutrients are protecting you from all the illnesses by building the immunity, right? Vitamin C fights the existing illnesses. If you have any illness, vitamin C helps to fight those illnesses and makes you to restore your health. And vitamin B12 and D prevents the illnesses, right? Prevents all the diseases from the body. Let's look at one by one, right? Vitamin C, if you can see, it is there in every natural food. Every natural food contains a bit of vitamin C, right? So what is the importance of vitamin C? Vitamin C is very important to boost the immunity in your body, right? It strengthens the immune system in your body by producing the white blood cells. How many of you know that when you have any health issue or when you have any wound, right, here what happens, your white blood cells will reach there and it will fight against all these things and it will start healing from inside, right? So who is going to take responsibility to produce the white blood cells in your body? Vitamin C, right? That is why people who don't take vitamin C on a regular basis, deprived of vitamin C, they always have one or the other health issues. And vitamin C is very important to absorb the iron in your body, right? How many of you have this low blood level, right? If you go to the doctor, they will always say, by looking at your eyes, by looking at you, they say that you don't have enough quantity of blood, or your HB level is very low, hemoglobin level is very low. Or when you feel fatigue, when you feel weakness, right, when you feel pains in different parts of your body, people will suggest you, right, you have a iron deficiency, right? So, my dear friends, if you don't have vitamin C in your body, iron is not being absorbed, right? To absorb the body needs vitamin C, right? And vitamin C is very important for your skin health. People who are suffering from these wrinkles, dryness, right? Uh, Having these pimples, all these things, they look pale, they don't look good. Like, so for all these things, having vitamin C is very important. And when it comes to people who are suffering from blood pressure, right? So vitamin C lowers the blood pressure and improves your heart functioning, right? That is why it is very, very important to consume vitamin C on a regular basis, right? But why we are not getting the vitamin C? Because when you cook any food, when you do any overcooking, vitamin C evaporates. That is why whatever the food we are eating in the breakfast, lunch, dinner, we are not having vitamin C, right? And my dear friends, understand every natural food, be it vegetables, fruits, grains, sprouts, nuts, seeds, everything contains bit of vitamin C. Particularly, green leafy vegetables contains more vitamin C, and citrus fruits and fruits like papaya, guava, right? Oranges and vegetables like bell pepper, capsicum, right? Cabbage, all these things contains a lot of vitamin C. So if you continuously consume these foods, you will get vitamin C, right? So lack of vitamin C leads to all the issues like feeling cough, cold every time, fevers and infections, right? And what is the second most important nutrient? Vitamin B12, right? Vitamin B12 is responsible to produce the red blood cells in your body, right? Only when you have the enough red blood cells in your body, then only your body will produce the blood, right? The enough blood which your body needs. That is why people who are deficient of vitamin B12, they always have low blood count, right? They feel fatigue, weakness. And vitamin B12 is very important for the nervous system functioning, right? That is why if you see most of the people are having this nerves damage, and if you see paralysis is coming for most of the people, right? Having all these mental issues like Parkinson's disease, dementia, right? After earlier, if you see, after 80-85 years, the old people will lose the memory, right? But now if you see, people who are like 45 years, 47, 48, they are losing the memory, right? They are becoming this dementia and Parkinson's patients. One of the main reason is lack of vitamin B12 in your body, right? And vitamin B12 is very important for the cell growth in your body, right? And it is very important for the energy production. So if you are eating the food all the time, what is responsible to convert this food into energy? vitamin B12. If you don't have vitamin B12, you will not be able to have more energy. That is why if you see people who eat 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day, right? They are overweight, they have a lot of fat, but still they feel fatigue and weakness, right? They feel the tiredness because lack of vitamin B12, right? And what is responsible to produce vitamin B12 in your body? Your gut microbiome, right? Vitamin D you cannot take directly from the food, okay? So when you take certain foods, that will go to your colon and your gut microbiome, right? Your bacteria in your gut will actually produce vitamin B12, right? So that is why even if you, some people will take the vitamin B12 supplements, vitamin B12 shots, injections, still they cannot improve because lack of bacteria that is responsible to produce vitamin B12, right? So that is the biggest reason. So, and we are going to discuss about it in the later part, right? Even in the healing journey, we are going to discuss most about that, right? And vitamin B12 contains, like, some of the foods contains the vitamin B12, right? The inactive form of vitamin B12 that will be activated through your gut microbiome. So most of the grains, okay, any grain, wheat, rice, millets, the outer layer, the bran contains vitamin B12, right? When you refine the rice, when you refine the grains, when you refine the millets, when you create the flour, white flours, what happens? You are creating the vitamin B12 deficiency, right? So my dear friends, that is why it is very, very important to keep attention on it. And then one of the most important building block of our body is vitamin D, because vitamin D is responsible for your bone health, right? How many of you know that your bones are the building blocks, the pillars of your body, right? Only your bone marrow will be able to produce the blood, okay? That is how your blood is being circulated to different parts of your body. If your bone health is weak, what happens? You will not have any immunity at all. It is like for a building, for a five-storied building, 5 floors building, how pillars are very important, right? If pillars are weak, what happens? Building will collapse. Same way, if you do not have vitamin D in your body, the active form of vitamin D, what happens? You will have weak bone health. Weak bone health leads to low immunity in your body, right? That is how you will see all these health issues, right? And vitamin D is responsible to absorb the calcium and phosphorus in your body, right? Calcium, you know, right? Very, very important when it comes to bone health, very important for our vitality, right? If you are deficient of calcium, what happens? You will see the pains in different parts of your body: headache, neck pain, body pain, back pain, knee pains. All these pains will come very easily, right? Your teeth will become weak and you will lose your hair. All these things will happen because of lack of absorption of calcium. But what is responsible to absorb calcium in your body? Vitamin D, right? If you do not have vitamin D in your body, calcium will not be absorbed, right? That is why it is very, very important. And what to do? What is the major cause of vitamin D deficiency? Lack of exposure to sunlight, right? So that is why I want you to spend at least 20 to 25 minutes under the sunlight every day, right? And my dear friends, how many of you would like to know what are the four villains for our health, particularly with respect to acidity and digestive problems, right? After knowing all the refined foods, how refined foods are damaging your health, right? What are the four refined foods, right? These four refined foods are the four villains for your health, particularly your digestive system. How many of you would like to know the four villains? If you can understand it, you can make a change, right? And you will be able to come out of your health issues. Type 4 in the chat box if you are someone who would like to know who are all these four villains. Okay, a lot of you would like to know. Great. Let me uncover and let me introduce the villain number one, that is white sugar. White sugar is the biggest villain for your body for majority of the deficiencies, right? My dear friends, what is white sugar? White sugar is the leftover of sugar cane, right? When you take sugar cane and you refine it, you remove certain things all the nutrition, it becomes jaggery, right? If you remove 70% of the nutrients, if you refine it, it becomes jaggery, right? But in the jaggery, at least 30% of the vitamins and some minerals are left. But when you refine it more and more and more, it becomes white sugar, right? White sugar does not contain any vitamins, any minerals, any enzymes, except the starch part, okay, which will immediately go into your body and becomes glucose, and it starts creating a lot of issues like obesity, right? Diabetes, blood pressure, thyroid dysfunction. One of the major reason for all these things is insulin resistance. And what is causing more insulin resistance for the humans, modern humans, is white sugar, right? White sugar does not contain any nutrients, no vitamins, no minerals, which sugarcane offers, right? Sugarcane contains a lot of vitamins and minerals our body needs. So that is why, my dear friends, say no to white sugar, right? If you have white sugar in your home, just remove it from your home and replace it with alternatives. And let's see why we need to replace white sugar, why we need to remove the white sugar, what it creates in your body.
White sugar, your answer was correct. But why is white sugar a villain? To understand this, you need to know how sugar is made. So the raw material that sugar is made from is sugar cane. When the sugar cane is harvested, juiced and boiled, it converts into jaggery. Now this jaggery still has much of the magnesium, iron, potassium, nutrients, vitamins still reserved inside it from the sugar cane. So even though jaggery is not fully wholesome, it's still refined within limits. But when sugarcane is converted into white sugar, then what happens? It is refined so much that all the minerals, all the vitamins present in that sugarcane are completely gone. And there is only one thing that remains in this white sugar: the mithas, the sweetness. So, this white powder, what does it do inside your body? To understand this,
So, my dear friends, what is the alternative for the white sugar, right? You can use jaggery, right? But the darker the jaggery, the purer it is, because when you more and more refine the jaggery, it becomes like this, right? So that is why try to get the raw jaggery wherever possible and completely remove the sugar from your kitchen, right? But my dear friends, you can remove the sugar from your home because it's in your hands, right? But what about when you eat outside? When you eat outside, lot of things contains white sugar, right? What are those things? Number one, when you drink tea or coffee, when you go outside, it contains a lot of sugar, right? So that is something which you need to check for yourself. And number two, when you eat any sweets, bakery products like cakes, pastries, donuts, right? All these contains a lot of white sugar because most of these sweets and bakery products are actually made from white sugar, right? And what is the third one which you need to have attention? When you drink soft drinks like Coke, Pepsi, and other drinks, right? They contains lot of sugar. So these are the major things which you see sugar outside when you eat outside. So my dear friends, when you eat or drink any of these things outside, just have this thing, have awareness, right? Try to avoid it or try to consume in a very less portion, or try to get some sources where they are not making it out of sugar, they are using certain alternatives for that, right? And let me introduce the second villain for all the acidity and digestive problems. How many of you would like to know the second villain? Two in the chat box if you would like to know what is the second villain. Okay, my dear friends, let me introduce the second villain, that is white flour, maida, right? My dear friends, what is maida? Maida is nothing but the residue of the wheat. right? The grain after subtracting the nutritious brown layer, because this bran contains the outer layer contains a lot of nutrition, right? Outer layer contains fiber, outer layer contains vitamin B12 and some important minerals like calcium, potassium, phosphorus, right? Majority of these things which your body needs. But when you remove the outer layer and when you take the only white part, the starchy part, which is called maida, right? So what happens when you eat maida, right? Any product which is made out of maida, what happens in your body? Let's look at a video.
So, maida is nothing but glue for the gut. Refined flour is nothing but glue for the gut. Why? It is commonly said, the whiter the bread, the sooner you are dead. जितना सफेद हमारा खाना उतनी जल्दी हमारी मृत्यु. Now, I know that most of us don't bring maida into our homes or our kitchens, but we do consume it often when we go out, hidden in things we never even think too much about. So, some products that are made up of refined flour or maida include naan and bhaturas, pizza bases, burger buns, bread, pav, chow mein. Apart from this, namakpara, kachori, puri, these are some of the items which contain maida. Another item that some of you may be consuming every day that falls in this category is brown bread. I'm sorry to break it for you, but brown bread, like brown sugar, is a sham. It's nothing but white bread plus molasses plus caramel color.
My dear friends, brown sugar and brown bread are nothing but fooling ourselves, right? There is no concept of brown, right? They are just sugar by adding a color, brown color, and bread adding a brown color. That's it.
Yes, brown bread is actually a fraud. Look at the ingredient label of brown bread. Tell me, what's the first ingredient? If it's refined flour or maida, please know that we are just being fooled to eat white bread with color. Most breads in the market are fooling us by writing things like whole wheat bread, and you turn the label around to realize that it's mostly made of refined wheat. And in India, it's nearly impossible to find true, real whole wheat bread on the shelves of the supermarkets. Now, you may be feeling like this again. Is
So, because of lack of fiber content in the maida, what happens is it will create it will stick to your intestines for a very long time, right? So when it sticks, what happens? It will create a lot of waste and toxins, and it leads to constipation, incomplete evacuation, right? And this incomplete evacuation is the mother and the source of all the health issues in your body, right? That is why it is very, very important to avoid or control anything which you eat made out of maida, right? The white flours, right? It could be any white flour. And these are some of the things which we make out of maida. Make sure that you make it with the whole wheat flour or whole flour, or try to replace it, okay? And these are certain replacements. So instead of maida, you can use whole wheat flours, right, with the bran. And you can use any of these alternatives, right? You can use ragi flour, jawar flour, bajra flour, right, wherever possible. And how many of you would like to know the third villain? How many of you would like to know the third villain? Three in the chat box. Okay, great, great, great. My dear friends, let me introduce the third villain, which is white rice, right? White rice is the biggest villain. What happens when you polish the rice, when you make the white rice? So, my dear friends, polishing the rice is nothing but taking away the outer bran, right? That contains a lot of nutrition in the form of fiber, vitamins, and some important nutrients like minerals and all these things, right? So when you remove the outer bran, which is highly nutritious, and when you eat the only white part, the starchy part, which is very easy to eat, easy to cook, right? Easy to digest. Because for our comfortability, we created this kind of situation where we are eating only the white part, right? My dear friends, what happens? You are actually removing the most nutritious part which your body needs, and you are eating something which is just starchy part, that is adding lot of weight to your body, and that is leading to a lot of inflammation and nutritional deficiency, right? And white rice is the creator of lot of deficiencies for human body, right? So if you see, India is the diabetes capital of the world, right? So if there are 100 people who are suffering from diabetes, more than 20-25 people are living in India, right? So we are seeing this pandemic, like how COVID is a pandemic, we are going to see a pandemic of diabetes. Most of the people are already pre-diabetic and diabetic. One of the major reason is eating only the starch part, eating only the white rice, white flours, right? So, my dear friends, what you can do is you can always replace white rice with wholesome rice like brown rice, red rice, or millets, right? These are the best alternatives because these contains some bran, the outer layer, which contains fiber, which will help you to move the food in your intestines so that you don't have incomplete evacuation. And this outer layer, the bran, contains a lot of vitamins and minerals that will help your body to fight against all the illnesses, that will help your body to build the immunity, right? And here is one caution: if you are someone who is suffering from any digestive issues like acidity, acid reflux, or you have any gluten insensitivity, or you have IBS, right? Or you are having this severe constipation, in certain cases it is not recommended to consume the whole rice, brown rice or millets, for some time. Because what happens is, if your stomach lining is already damaged, right? If your gut lining is already damaged, what happens is, if you consume any of these whole foods like brown rice, millets, these millets and brown rice contain certain fiber which will irritate your stomach lining, right? That is why, till you reverse your acidity and digestive problems, take the consultation of the specialist, right? Your nutritionist is going to guide you, okay, in this detox program, or even in the healing journey, the upcoming healing journey. Your nutritionist is going to handhold you, right? Making you understand when is the right time for you to start the brown rice or millets. Okay, till then they may suggest white rice for you. For certain people it could be white rice, it could be oats, or it could be some other grains. Okay, so it is not recommended for the people who are suffering from acidity and digestive problems because of damaged gut lining. But if you are someone who is suffering from acidity, digestive problems, but your gut lining is not very much damaged, then you can start eating all these, any of these whole rice, right, or millets. Okay, for this particular thing I want you to take the consultation from the nutritionist. Okay, ask them, give all of your symptoms, based on that they are going to recommend. Okay, but once you were able to come out of these issues, for the lifetime, try to replace the white rice or white flour with all these whole grains. Okay, and if you are someone who is going to use brown rice or any whole grains like millets, make sure that you soak it for at least 3 hours. Okay, because all these whole foods contains certain fibers which will be little difficult to digest for certain people. If you are completely healthy, no problem, but if you have any irritation in your stomach lining, gut lining, then it may irritate you, it would be little difficult to digest. That is why always soak your rice, okay, before cooking. Okay, if you are using, like, even in the overnight, you can soak it, in the morning you can cook it. Okay, that is the best thing to do. Or if you do not have much time, at least soak it for 1 to 3 hours. Okay, yeah. And what is the fourth villain which is damaging our gut lining, which is actually creating all these deficiencies, which is the root cause of majority of these health issues, is your commercial refined oils, the refined oils which you are using, which you are buying from the supermarkets, right? It could be any kind of oil, anything which is refined and you are bringing it from the supermarkets, are actually creating a lot of inflammation in your body. And we are having a dedicated session for that. maybe in the day 9 and day 10, I'll give you exact clarity about how these refined cooking oils are creating a lot of inflammations in your body. Okay, so for the time being, you have to completely replace your commercial refined oils with the cold pressed oils. Okay, just remove it from your life, not only for the 10 days, not only for 2 months, 3 months. If you are using any commercial refined oils, remove it completely. Okay, and replace it with cold pressed oils. Okay, and if you are someone who is suffering from any acidity and digestive problems, the best oil to use is cold pressed coconut oil, either for the cooking or dressing or for any kinds of these things. The best oil to use is coconut oil. And I know for some of you it is weird, people who are from northern India and people who are from west of India, right? They will surprise, right? Because they don't have the habit of consuming coconut oil. But when it if you are someone from south, at least people have the habit of consuming coconut oil. But my dear friends, why I want you to switch to coconut oil for the time being, for the next 2 months, 3 months, till you reverse your digestive issues, is coconut oil contains certain compounds which will start healing your gut lining, right? That is why it is recommended. Okay, and if you don't know which coconut oil you should buy, right, then my team is going to help you, okay, with that. And what is the summary of the session? The entire summary of the session is simply remove or reduce the intake of unnatural foods and highly refined foods, right? If you have this awareness, if you can actually practice this, my dear friends, your body will be able to detox on a regular basis, right? There won't be any toxins inside your system. There won't be any waste which is clogged in your intestines that will become the root cause of your health issues, right? And here some of the people may feel, what if I feel bloated or I feel discomfort while having whole grains? If you are someone who has been eating the refined grains, okay, the refined atta or white rice, and suddenly if you shift to the whole grains like brown rice, millets, you start seeing some bloating or discomfort. Not everyone, but certain people. So what you need to do, my dear friends, just wait for 3 to 4 days till your body habituate for that, because you are suddenly changing the habit. Your body has been habituated for the old things, and suddenly if you change, body resist anything which you want to change, right? Just make sure that you eat less quantity and make sure that you are adding it slowly over a period of time. 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, slowly your body will become comfortable for having these whole grains. Okay, and understand human body takes time. Okay, give the time to adapt, and eliminate all the foods that contribute to acidity because of inflammation, okay, which damages your gut lining. All the foods that are inflammatory, processed foods, foods that are highly processed, and high packaged foods, right? Foods that comes in packaged form. Most of the refined foods contains a lot of preservatives and additives. These additives and preservatives will actually damage the gut lining, the GI lining, right? So that is the reason why you are having majority of these digestive issues. And try to control refined foods. Anything which is refined, try to reduce that. And my dear friends, in short, if I have to say, what are the two mistakes we are making with respect to the lunch? What we are eating in the lunch? Number one, eating only carbs, right? Eating only refined grains in the form of roti, rice, and anything which is only made out of refined grains. And eating excessive refined grains, right? Not taking fruits, vegetables, and different variety of foods which your body needs. And my dear friends, what is the rule for the lunch? Every lunch plate which you eat should contains a bit of natural food in the form of salad, right? If you are putting any lunch plate, the first thing that should be there in your plate is salad. Okay, and then add some protein, and then add something which contains fats, and then add carbohydrates, right? That is how, if you can balance the meal, right? If you have all the ingredients in your meal, in your lunch, it is going to help you to detox your body, to cleanse your digestive system, to reduce the inflammations, and to help fight all the illnesses. And it is going to prepare your body for the healing. right? And lunch should have, always lunch should have whole grains, okay? And except when you are having these issues, right? So for the next 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, our team is going to help you. If you are someone who is suffering from acidity, severe digestive problems because of gut lining damage, you need to take just white rice or simple refined grains for the time being till you reverse that, and then you can start taking the whole grains. So, my dear friends, what is tomorrow's challenge? After knowing all these things, how many of you are ready to take this challenge? What is the challenge? Removing the processed foods from your home. Just go into your kitchen, see what are all the more refined, ultra processed foods you are using. Try to replace that. Okay. And number two, replace refined grains with whole grains, right? Start including whole grains in your lunch and start taking variety of nutrients, right? In the form of taking the salad. 20% of your lunch plate should contain salad, okay? And another 20-30% it should contain protein and fats, and another 40-35 to 40-50% it should contain grains, okay? Make sure that you are balancing your lunch plate, right? So that is how we are going to take the balanced food. And some of you are asking, yesterday some of you asked what type of uh, detox teas I can have, right? If you are someone who is suffering from acidity, heartburn, stomach pain, you can use ginger, cinnamon tea, licorice powder, or aloe vera juice. So even after the lunch, this is what I'm saying. So after lunch, maybe in the evening at 5 p.m., 5:30, 6 p.m., if you want to have any detox teas, these are our alternatives, right? You can have ginger plus cinnamon tea, okay, in the evening as a detox tea. You can have licorice tea if you are someone who is suffering from gastritis, stomach ulcers, peptic ulcers, right? Burning sensation, you can take the licorice powder. And if you are someone who is suffering from lower digestive problems like bloating, right, bacterial overgrowth in your small intestine, and certain kinds of IBS, IBD, files, fisheries, all these things, you can take a fresh aloe vera juice. And I want each and every one of you tomorrow, when you are creating this balanced lunch plate, take a pic, share it in the group, okay, without miss, and keep it as your WhatsApp status without miss. Yeah, that's it for the day. If you have any questions, any doubts regarding how to create this balanced lunch plate, ask my team. They are going to help you. And don't try to make immediate changes, everything, right? Start making little changes from tomorrow onwards. Okay. Share your meal plate so that our nutritionist is going to help you. They are going to handhold you. So, what are all the changes you need to make, right? Only when we know that what we are eating, we can actually help you in making changes in modifications, okay? So that's it for the day. I hope you got a lot of value in this session. If you find that you got a lot of value, type value in the chat box and let me know what are your learnings, right, from today's session. I want everyone to type the learning. What is your learning from today? What is the commitment you are taking from today? And what is your challenge tomorrow afternoon when you are having your lunch? What kind of lunch plate you are creating for yourself, the balanced lunch plate? Okay. Okay, great. So a lot of you are saying very much valuable. uh, Not eating namkeen. Okay, you are saying that you are not eating namkeen, absolutely. And I will eliminate the four villains from my life. Wonderful. And yeah, I will reduce the intake of sugar. Wonderful. And I will reduce the quantity of white rice. Great. I will take the balanced lunch in my plate. Great. Very much useful. Eye opener. Wonderful. So balanced diet, going to improve my lunch plate. Okay. I will shift to cold pressed oils. Wonderful. Wonderful. Great. No sugar. I will change oils. Okay. So say no to refined foods. Wonderful. Try to eat healthy and balanced diet. I will try to include salad in my lunch. Wonderful, wonderful, really great. I will stop taking sugar. I will remove the sugar by at least 50 to 70%. Great. I will replace jaggery. Okay, great, wonderful. And if you have any question, any doubt, ask in the WhatsApp group. Okay, we are going to go through and we are going to help you. And my dear friends, Have a great sleep, enjoy the day, and I want you to have full energy in the morning when you wake up, and try to attend morning wellness session without miss, morning yoga session, right? My team is sharing that some of you are not taking the morning yoga session very seriously, right? My dear friends, take it very seriously. Attend the morning wellness session, because that is also very very important, right? And you understand that to beat any illness, all you need is wellness. You have to include the wellness in your life, right? To improve your health. So that is why, thank you so much. Sleep early and enjoy the day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hi everyone, I have shared all the resources in the group. Kindly have a look. All the things, the day notes, and all the meal plate photos, the videos, and everything was shared. Links to order all the things. Just have a look. Just have a look. Okay. If you have any questions, just put it in our activity group. And I have seen that so many of you have not yet posted the meal plate photos, what you had in the dinner. So make sure from tomorrow onwards you're posting the balanced lunch plate photo, so that we can able to identify what is the triggering food, or if you're not eating properly, we can able to tell you this is the wrong combination which you're taking. Okay, so kindly post the meal plate photos, and as we have mentioned, people who post all the things in the activity group, we have a surprising gift on the day 10. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Good night everyone. Good night. See you all tomorrow morning sharp 6:30.